So if you just clicked on this video, then you are probably brand new to watercolors and just started. Maybe you're watercolor curious, you're wondering if this is right for you and you're not quite sure what to start and budget is kind of tight. This is the place for you. We're going to go over some really budget friendly entry ways to watercolor. What I actually recommend for my students and people that would really like to try out watercolor is actually starting with just a few things. We've got a couple of jars of water here, and I'll go into why I use two in a moment. I've got my paints here. This is the Winsor & Newton Cotman set, and we'll go into that in a little bit. I've got a very basic watercolor sketchbook, and there are some other paper options too if this isn't right for you. I've got my paint brushes. You do not need all the paintbrush sizes in the world. You just need a couple, one even, to get started. And of course a pencil, an eraser, and you're good to go. So let's go ahead and let's start with the paints, because that's the exciting part is picking out paints, at least for myself. But I can understand, like, I looked at some YouTube videos out there for you on what should I pick out. And I have to admit, if I was brand new to this medium, I would find YouTube very just exhausting and confusing, trying to figure out who's right. Like, I'm seeing a lot of conflicting information, so I can only imagine how frustrating that can be. So let's simplify it. I've used a lot of watercolors. If you look on my channel, you'll see like a ton of watercolors. Those are all professional paints that I'm using. You do not need all of those colors. You don't need the expensive paints. You also don't want to go so budget that you're in like the Crayola section. That is not going to help you learn. They're going to end up really chalky. I would classify them as a toy, like Crayola is a toy and not an art supply in most cases. What's probably going to be best for a learner, either the casual learner or if you really want to dive into this and deep into color theory and how watercolors work, the Winsor & Newton Cotman set is going to be the one for you. It's curated so that you don't have all of these colors to choose from, and they all work together beautifully. You're able to create a variety of colors. I've actually got a mixing chart that I created today just from this set. Another sketchbook here. These are all of the colors that you have available to you in this set. And if you're interested in learning how to make one of these, so that, if you're looking for a specific color, you're not quite sure how to mix it, you can make one of these fairly easily and find exactly what you need to mix for what color you want. That's actually fairly simple to do. So there's a lot of versatility in just the 12 colors that you get in this set. And by the way, I'm not sponsored by any of these companies. I will have links in the description to all of these products, and they are affiliate links for Amazon, just because it helps support what I do and enables me to buy things to try out for you guys. But all the information will be in the description below the video. So let's go ahead and try some of these out. I have all the names listed here, and I'm just going to take one of my mid-range brushes here. This is a Princeton Aqua Elite brush. These are all Princeton Aqua Elite brushes. I actually don't even use more than these, and actually, like, I rarely go more than 2 of these, but they are the nicer brushes. Now if you are like budget tight, like, I understand, like, it's actually the economy right now is not great. So if you're trying to keep your costs low get the really cheap, just make sure they're watercolor brushes when you look them up. I'll have some really cheap versions of brushes suggested down below as well, because I don't want money to be a barrier for you guys. And if you're just learning, it really, like, just get in there, get the cheap brushes, try it out, see if it's for you. And if you're falling in love with watercolors, you can always upgrade later and get it piece by piece. I will say that if you can get the Princeton set of watercolor brushes, and it's only like 3 or 4 brushes, it is so worth the investment though. If you know that you want to be doing this for a while, like I waited way too long to upgrade my brushes. I used cheap brushes for years and they kept falling apart on me. The bristles were falling out, and I would take care of my brushes, but they would just fall apart super fast. Investing in these, and they're not terrible, like it's about, I think it was like $32 or something like that, but they will last you so long. Like in the long run, if you keep up with this and you take care of your brushes, it ends up being cheaper than just constantly buying the ones that fall apart. So here's my cadmium red. And this sketchbook here is probably one of the cheaper options that I have found, where it's kind of a balance between, I want to go through a lot of paper, so I don't want something that's too pricey. I don't want to be afraid of using my sketchbook because it's too precious, you know. So you actually get some decent quality paper. I don't believe this is 100% cotton. But it works really well. It's got a nice texture to it. You can use it a bunch. There's a lot of pages. And the paint flows on it really nicely. So I'll have this bound sketchbook down there in the description. And if that, I think it was something between $20 and $25 for 2 of them. Like it comes in a 2-pack. And there are several pages in here. I want to say it was more than 30 pages. But if that's even a stretch, a lot of people kind of hate on Canson paper, watercolor paper a lot. But if you're just getting started and what you can afford is like a $9 sketchbook, get it. Just make sure it's watercolor paper. And it's a heavyweight paper. If you get the Canson, I think it's XL watercolor paper, you're fine. Oh, I just dipped into the wrong color. I don't want to confuse you. That would not be helpful, would it? So let's go into, like, why do I have 2 jars of water? Why do I recommend that? A lot of people just use one, and that's fine, especially if they have a huge container of water. But I do work professionally, and I don't like painting with muddy water, like dirty water. So I have one container to clean my brush. I clean my brush between colors. And once my brush is clean, I can dip into the clean water and paint with that. And that'll keep my colors vibrant and prevent any mucky colors ending up in my artwork. So I do recommend having just 2 different containers. It doesn't matter what the container is, really. These are just 2 cheap mason jars. And they work just fine, and they clean really easily. Okay, and you can see just how nicely the paints here flow on this paper. I did do just some practice leaves on the Canson paper, just so you can see how it behaves on Canson as well. It will be a little different, but you'll see in a moment, like, it's not going to keep you from learning. And if having expensive materials is a barrier for you to explore and practice and play without that anxiety, like, just get the cheaper paper. I think that's for beginner artists, the biggest piece of advice I could give them is get in whatever state you need to just play. Just explore them. Go into it with a mindset of you're getting to know something for the first time. You're not going to be Rembrandt or Da Vinci. Just explore how the paints behave. And of course, like, if this video is helpful for you, I don't mind going into some like beginner watercolor exercises to get to know your paints. Things that are hopefully really relaxing, an easy entry level project for you. Actually, just making that color chart is a great beginning exercise to get to know your paints. You can practice your brush control. Swatching out your colors like this is a great way to start a sketchbook and also practice your brush control, your water control. So I would highly recommend just those two things. And like, starting a sketchbook can also be a little intimidating. It's like you look at that first like clean white page. It's like, I don't want to mess this up, even though sketchbooks are just for practice anyway. But I get that intimidation factor. Like, this looks nice, and it's really like, it's a no-brainer. You just have to fill in whatever shape that you want. You can make yourself some squares. I just used a stencil, a really cheap stencil that I got off of Amazon, because I thought having a bunch of hearts would be cute. I actually took all of my paints and swatched them out, and I have them on my cork board in my studio because it's just nice to look at. So that's another like really easy art project for you to do, is just swatching out all your colors in an organized fashion. They look nice together, and you can frame that or put it up on a cork board or on your fridge or wherever you want to put it, and it looks nice. And my last color here is going to be the Chinese white, which I will put there. You might not be able to see it very well because it's white on white, but we're going to do it anyway. Okay, so you can see how this paint reacts on this paper. It is different than getting like the 100% cotton paper, but again, not necessary if you're just learning. There are people out there that say, you know what, if you're going to practice on the good stuff, because you don't want to get used to the cheaper paper and then you've got another learning curve when you go to the next level. I don't think it's that big of a barrier, to be honest. Like, it might take you a couple of tries, but that's how we all learn anyway. So this in the long run will save you some money and a little bit of, like, remove that barrier so that you're just in it, you're playing with the paints, you're learning, you're having a good time, which is what you came for anyway. So don't stress out about not using the 100% cotton paper. Okay, so let me go ahead and pull the Canson paper. I just did some leaves. So you can see it looks fine, and I did use these paints, the Cotman set. You can get some really nice texture if you want. You can have smooth blending if you want. It's not going to have the texture of this other paper. It's a little more flat. The absorption of the water in the paint into the paper is a little bit different. But it's not that it's a bad paper. It is acid free. It'll last a little while. It's not going to be archival like some of the professional stuff, but that's not what we're here for anyway. If you want to know more about the archival stuff and you've got the budget for it and you want to go all in, feel free to ask me in the comments and I'll gladly help you on that. So here, again, this is just entry-level stuff. It doesn't have to break the bank. I think with the cheaper brushes and the Canson sketchbook paper, it was like $40 altogether for supplies. It's a little more expensive, not too bad though if you get the 2-pack of this journal and the Aqua Elite brushes. You can also just start with what you can afford and upgrade later to 1 or 2 of these. But yeah, there you have it. Just a beginner-friendly set. And I hope I see you again later. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me in the comments. You can go to the community tab or the post tab on my channel. You can actually post your own pictures there now. I just enabled that on my channel. So if you're in the middle of a painting and you're not quite sure how to get past something, shoot me a message with the picture and I'll see if I can help you out there. So with that, thank you guys for watching. If you listened the whole time, say Cotman, and I'll know that you made it the whole way. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if this was helpful to you, and I'll see you in another video. Bye-bye.